because of the mandatory action from January 2017 for Zodiac and Stoll models of Chris Heintz, you have to do an annual inspection of the front stabilizer bracket. For this, you have to remove the entire stabilizer from the fuselage with the elevator and also removing the cables to take a view from the bottom. Because of the inverted stabilizer, the stabilizer is on top of the 701 is flat. So it's a good place for an access panel. I was writing to Roger and he sees no problem to make an access panel on the top for the annual inspection. I asked him also if I paint or prime the rivets or let them unpaint for the annual inspection, and his advice was it's better to let them like this. The one nut plate I want to position on the front of the stabilizer rear ribs, but they are with 16,000 aluminium very thin. So I was taking a piece of 90 millimeters L angle as a doubler. On which will be the nut plate installed. The reinforcement ring for the access panel for the front brackets of the horizontal stabilizer are made of 32,000 6061 T6 aluminium. Here's my plan. The axis will have a diameter of 50 millimeters. The nut plates will be located on 70 millimeters and the axis cover will have a diameter of 90 millimeters. At between 90 and 100 millimeters there will be located the A4 rivets. The reinforcement ring will have a diameter of 115 millimeters. The 90 millimeter access cover is also made out of 6061 T6 25,000 aluminium. The access covers after the rough cutout with hacksaw and tin snip. Here are now the two axis covers. Clickered in place with size 40 with the reinforcement part behind. Because they are handmade, it's necessary to mark the orientation, because they are not 100% symmetrical. After positioning the nut plate, the 332 holes on the L angle as a doubler was dimpled with a hand rivet squeezer. On the reinforcement part they was countersunk. The holes for the washer head screws was drilled out to 5.5 millimeters. The holes for where the A4 rivets have an interference with the axis cover was drilled out to 6 millimeter. First I was positioning the reinforcement piece on the inside to get the correct direction and the correct distance from the front spar, and and drilling 3 holes size 40. On the other side you can see that I was placing over the reinforcement piece the access cover, and the holes for the nut plates are drilled out to size 40, and for the fixation of the reinforcement piece I have A4 rivets, and with the hole duplicator I was duplicating the A4 rivets in the horizontal stabilizer, because there will be interference with the rivets underneath the access covers, so I have to drill a bigger hole than the rivets are. The holes for the washer head screws are drilled out to 3/16 for a good positioning of the nut plates. Here are the products: the washer head screws, the solid aluminum rivets, and the self-locking nut plates. Now all holes drilled to final size, I flipped the skin over and positioned the reinforcement piece, and marking another line with a red waterproof pen for the cutout. In the corners I was drilling a relief hole of 6 mm, about a 1/4 inch, and in the middle a hole of 3/4 of an inch. Here the other side, after a rough cut with the tin snips. After some filing, here are the finished cutouts. Here are now the pieces for the access panel for the front brackets of the horizontal stabilizer after priming and installing the nut plates. The reinforcement parts are riveted in place with 5 A4 rivets, and here with 3 A4 rivets. Here's the view from the inside with the reinforcement pieces riveted in place. Today Catherine was pulling some rivets. Today Catherine was pulling some rivets. I was assisting her removing the clickers and inserting the rivets. Here are now the access panels for the front stabilizer. With the cutout for the rivets, that there is no interference, and 4 holes for the washer head screws. Here is now the view from the inside on the right side. And here the view from the inside on the left side.